Peace. The thoughts and opinion of some of the music played here on the Beats, Rhymes, and Race BRR show are not necessarily those of keepers of the art and us as individuals. Enjoy.
The only place you see Dr. King's speech, the I Have a Dream speech, is in hip-hop. Americans are always, Dr. King! There ain't nowhere in America Dr. King dreams. Nowhere in the United States. And I will challenge the world on that too. Nowhere in the world do you see this part where my children will one day grow up in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. That's nowhere on the globe. Nowhere. The only place you see that actually happening, like actually going on culturally, is in hip-hop.
Tonight is a celebration of sports, celebrating our accomplishments and our victories. But in this moment of celebration, we actually start the show tonight this way. The four of us talking to our fellow athletes with the country watching, because we cannot ignore the realities of the current state of America. The events of the past week have put a spotlight on the injustice, distrust, and anger that plague so many of us. The system is broken. The problems are not new. The violence is not new. And the racial divide definitely is not new. But the urgency to create change is at an all-time high.
We stand here tonight accepting our role in uniting communities to be the change we need to see. We stand before you as fathers, sons, husbands, brothers, uncles, and in my case, as an African-American man and the nephew of a police officer who was one of the hundreds of thousands of great officers serving this country. But Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, Eric Gardner, Laquan McDonald, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile. This is also our reality. Generations ago, legends like Jesse Owens, Jackie Robinson, Muhammad Ali, John Carlos, and Tommy Smith, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jim Brown, Billie Jean King, Arthur Ashe, and countless others. They set a model for what athletes should stand for. So we choose to follow in their footsteps.
The racial profiling has to stop. The shoot-to-kill mentality has to stop. Not seeing the value of black and brown bodies has to stop. But also the retaliation has to stop. The endless gun violence in places like Chicago, Dallas, not to mention Orlando, it has to stop. Enough. Enough is enough. Now, as athletes, it's on us to challenge each other to do even more than what we already do in our own communities. And the conversation cannot stop as our schedules get busy again. It won't always be convenient. It won't. It won't always be comfortable. But it is necessary.
We all feel helpless and frustrated by the violence. We do. But that's not acceptable. It's time to look in the mirror and ask ourselves, what are we doing to create change? It's not about being a role model. It's not about our responsibilities to the tradition of activism. I know tonight we'll honor Muhammad Ali, the GOAT. But to do his legacy any justice, let's use this moment as a call to action for all professional athletes to educate ourselves, explore these issues, speak up, use our influence, and renounce all violence. And most importantly, go back to our communities, invest our time, our resources, help rebuild them, help strengthen them, help change them. We all have to do better.
Peace, family. Welcome once again to the BRR show, Beats, Rhymes, and Race. Your boy Don Juan alongside my partner Big Ish. Wow, another episode, man. A lot going on, Ish.
Yeah.
A lot going on, man. And unless, you've been living under a rock for the last couple of weeks, you should be quite aware, the listening audience should be quite aware of the situation taking place in San Francisco with our brother Colin Kaepernick, man. First of all, let me just say this, man. I am so extremely proud of that young man. for taking the social stance that he did in refusing to stand and acknowledge the national anthem, you know. And I thought it was, well, we thought it was appropriate to play that clip from the ESPYs not too long ago, where you had Carmelo, Chris Paul, D Wade, and LeBron actually call out and challenge athletes, modern day athletes, to take a stand against social issues.
Right.
And that's exactly what Colin Kaepernick did.
Right.
You know, it sparked a tremendous amount of controversy. You know,
unwarranted, a lot of it though.
But it was almost like, you know, who was it that said? I believe it was D Wade that said, you know, it won't be comfortable.
Won't be convenient.
It won't be convenient. You know, it was such a prophetic statement. You know, and I don't really think that at the time they made that statement that they really understood perhaps the ramifications, or maybe the fact that, okay, what happens when one of our athletes actually takes you up on your offer?
Right.
They're like, be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
Because you just might get it.
Well, you know, I guess I don't want to approach it that way. I don't want to approach it that. I guess, you know, I look at what happened at the ESPYs as definitely a call to action.
Sure.
You know?
Absolutely. Yes.
But I also look at it more of a mainstream. I won't say mainstream, but when I look at Kaepernick's protest, I think Kaepernick put his livelihood on the line, man.
Sure.
He put his livelihood on the line.
Sure.
You know, I look. You know, I don't want to. You know, I commend Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, and LeBron. I commend them for using that platform. You know what I'm saying, to share that message, because it was important.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying, but that was just the first step. That was just the very first step. And I think your boy Kaepernick has grabbed the baton, and he's hit the track running.
Sure.
Now the question is, who is he going to pass the baton to? You see what I'm saying? You saying because at the end of the day, even Kaepernick's protest has to evolve, because it can't be just that thing that he just sits for the national anthem. That's that's important. That's an important part of the process. But the protest has to evolve into social action, organizing. And real action on the ground roots level. You know what I mean?
Sure. But like you said, Ish, you know, it has to start somewhere.
Right.
And I think that was a tremendous start. You know, taken by, you know, one just one athlete. And sometimes we say one person can make a difference, and we don't really understand, you know, the meaning behind that. But one person really can.
Yeah.
You know, and this is living proof. I mean, just think about the amount of discussion, you know, that this brother's stance has sparked. You can't turn to a sports channel, ESPN. I have Sirius Radio I listen to, Mad Dog Sports. You can't turn to any of these stations now and not hear a discussion or a debate about the issues that Colin Kaepernick has raised. Now, oftentimes, you know, I see these, you know, the real issue being somewhat deflected.
Right.
You know, we see that happening over and over again, which is problematic. But, you know, it's a lot to discuss, Ish, and I'm glad that we are, you know, we're going to dedicate this show to discussing the stance that Colin Kaepernick took. Who's going to carry the baton? What do we do about the backlash that he's received, both from the black community and those outside of the black community? You know, is he following in the footsteps of Muhammad Ali and Jackie Robinson and, you know, and all the other pioneers, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jim Brown?
Of course he is.
You know, absolutely he is. He is, absolutely. You know,
yeah.
But again, who's going to, you know, take the baton? Because I was a little troubled, you know, that I think there are only 2 other NFL athletes who are joining Colin Kaepernick in his protest.
Yeah, that's kind of problematic.
That's very problematic.
That's kind of problematic.
You know, but you know, we know that there are a lot of forces, you know, behind the silence of, you know, today's popular athlete. You know, so, you know, today's show is going to be all about Colin Kaepernick You know,
and his stance, bro.
And his stance. You know,
but you know what? I gotta ask a question though,
Go
Don
ahead.
This is the question I have to ask.
Go ahead.
And for all those out there who are listening who disagree with Colin Kaepernick, I have one question for you. Are you upset with his protests, or are you upset with the reason, you know, or are you upset with the conditions for which he's protesting over? You understand what I'm saying? Because that's important. Because if you're upset with his protests, you need to look at yourself in the mirror,
right?
As an American, you know what I'm saying? Because Colin is doing nothing but exercising his First Amendment right.
Yeah.
That you say that our service, our military service, put their lives on the line for.
Exactly.
You know what's so crazy though? I was on Facebook about a week ago, and it was a U.S. Marine, and he responded to a video that somebody had posted on Facebook, and he said, "Man, he was like, look, we fight to protect lives. We don't fight to protect a song." Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, he just came out and I was like, whoa. He was like, you know, he said the song is just a symbolism.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he said the song doesn't accurately capture the symbolism either.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because we got to break that down.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing, man. It's like, you know, this Colin Kaepernick stance, you know, has I mean, you have people who are placing more emphasis on a song, than on a life, than on lives. Placing more, I mean, and when you think about that, more emphasis on a song and a flag, as opposed to placing the primary emphasis on the lives that are being lost unjustly, that Colin Kaepernick is pointing out, and the fact that he's being labeled as unpatriotic is also problematic-ish, because, you know, when you think about it, you know, what's more patriotic than asking America to stand up and live up to the foundations or its creed, as Dr. King said.
But more importantly, Don Juan, asking America to step up and protect some of the most vulnerable citizens within this border.
What's more patriotic than that?
What's more patriotic? You know what I'm saying? I mean, because we can look at the history of black and brown lives in this country, and they have always been vulnerable.
Sure.
Since the beginning, because America is still a young country in the eyes of history. You know, but when you look at race relations in this country, what lives have been more vulnerable? Right. Than black and brown lives. You know, and really, and let's just keep it real. Really, nothing has really been done, you know, on a concerted and organized, systematic and social level to preserve these lives. Right. You know, so I mean, once again, you know, it's not an issue of if all lives matter, because we understand that, because we're approaching it from a holistic standpoint. You know, how can all lives matter if black lives don't matter? Exactly. You know, so let's flip the script a little bit. Yep. You see what I'm saying? So all lives can't matter if
black lives are devalued.
If black lives are devalued. So, you know, from that point, so this is Keepers of the Art. We are Keepers of the Art. This is the Beats, Rhymes, and Ray Show. I'm Big Ish El Amin. That's my man Don Juan. We got my man Chris Miller back in the house, the engineer. You know what I'm saying? You know, Chris is doing big things though, y'all. You know, so y'all gonna be reading about Chris Miller, and y'all gonna be watching some movies and see his names, some scripts coming up here real soon. But we back in the building, man, and we dealing with a real serious issue today, man. You know what I'm saying? So y'all stay tuned, y'all strap in. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into some music, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna deal with this Colin Kaepernick and this issue of him, you know, protesting race relations in this country, man.
Let's get it.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, matter of fact, we're gonna get into some brand new, man. We got some good music as well as too. We got some good De La Soul, man. Brand new. Okay. De La Soul too. You know, hey man, if you haven't heard the new De La Soul album, it's a 10 out of 10. It's mature, good hip hop. You know what I'm saying?